it was something occurred where I was a little bitter. So I was mad. So I will admit that I was bitter, and I made an impulsive decision, and it wasn't right. It wasn't right for the kids. It wasn't right for all of us. So I think a situation occurred. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I decided to pull Nyla away.
We got the magic happening. Girl, the feeling is great and I'm loving it. Hey, we got the magic happening. Everything that we need, everything that we pay, girl, the magic's happening. And the feeling is great and this feeling is great, girl, the magic happening. It's happening, yeah.
I think when we were separated, that as far as for me, I didn't see us getting back together because I just thought, after a divorce, that's it. That's what I grew up thinking. Like, you get divorced, you can't get remarried. I don't know why I had that mindset when I was a kid. Like, if you get a divorce, the government not gonna let you get back married. And I knew that wasn't true as I grew, but I just stuck to that. Like, I didn't think we would get back married, and I kind of was thinking about the embarrassment factor of it. Because dang, we just went through this very publicly. Like, he has a big family and a lot of people know his family. Like, they low-key like Milwaukee, like celebrities, what I be calling them. Like, everybody know y'all every time we go somewhere. And so everybody knew our business. And so I was like, what are people gonna think if I go back to the same person who I said did this to me and this to me and this to me, and I'll never take this and that and this, So I was factoring in embarrassment and kind of the thoughts of other people. And nowadays, females would be like, girl, I could never, or you stupid, or you a good one. I didn't want people saying that to me because it made me feel like it diminished me a little bit. But as we started working back together, I was like, this is okay. I started to really learn that reconciliation is okay. Like, figuring it out, working on it is okay. I understand. Sometimes you got to break up to make up. It makes sense to me now. So when we first started like canoodling again, and like the first time he told me he loved me again, it was just like, bro, this is crazy. Like I said, like I couldn't believe like all that love that I still had for him that I thought was gone. So when I felt that again, it was no question, like, we can make this work. We can. And I worked out forgiveness, and I worked out healing, and I worked out maturing, and I worked out realizing just because this was somebody in the last season of their life doesn't mean that they can't be someone different in the new season of their life, and like trusting that. And I think that's what a lot of like moms or women, like single moms, and they like to call them baby mamas or whatever you want to call them, like once you see your baby daddy in that light, that's how you always gonna see him. Which is why when they move on and get with another woman, you quick to, girl, wait until he do this, or I'm gonna warn you, or he gonna do the same thing to you that he did to me, and then be salty when he doing a great job, because we don't let men grow, and we don't forgive them or take them out of that light, and that was forever gonna keep me stuck. So I had to get out of that stuck mindset and be like, give him a chance. Like, change is good, change is natural, and change is for all people, even you. So yeah, I did see us working out.
Just when we were broken up, it's over. I'm not never going back. I'm not gonna embarrass myself and apologize publicly. I'm not doing none of that. It's forced. So honestly, I really didn't see us getting back together, man. And I don't know, like, the love on my heart has just kept overwhelming, and it's just like everything I tried to do just wouldn't work. You know what I'm saying? So my love for her, it was just always popped back up. So it kept coming back until it was one day I'm like, dude, am I really starting to feel her again? Like, and it kept going from there, and like literally it kept going up and up from there.
Yeah, I think we saw it, but it was a matter of getting other people to believe it. So like, we could see it, but other people couldn't see it. What was that when he did like this public apology to me? I didn't even ask him to do that. And he like posted it on Facebook or something. It got like 1,000 and something shares, and people was like, she dumb. I thought people were sharing it like, oh, that's cute. Because I thought it was cute. I was like, I appreciate your humility. Everybody was like, they dumb. Why would they do that? But then it just made me look at our generation like, we don't like to work for stuff no more. The first time you do something wrong to me, you cut. But after you keep doing that to relationship after relationship, and you look up and you alone. And so I seen all those shares, and I couldn't be mad at them. I felt sorry for them, because you'll never know a real love like a love you fought for.
Yeah, I always wanted it. To this day, she ain't. I don't know why, but she didn't. But the way I look at it is like, okay, we've been broke up for so many years, right? So it's a blessing to still be cordial and not have like a crazy baby mom or a crazy baby. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they had them type of stories. But I would want my family over anything. I say that in any interview, no matter how big I'm getting, whatever. I always tell her, like, you're going to be straight no matter what I got. You know what I'm saying? You're going to always be straight. But I would rather be with my family any day. Like, I take that, like, but I know she look at the old stuff, like the old mind. She probably see how I'm moving now because I'm single. So that ain't helping me at all. When you see how I'm moving like this and you used to me being this way, it's like, nah, you probably still
that don't have nothing to do with it.
But I'm just saying, I don't know. That's how I look. But all I'm saying is, if I had a chance, I wouldn't mess it up. She just don't want to give me the chance.
I believe that, but
I wouldn't mess it up at all. I wouldn't mess it up.
You got to understand, when you like really break somebody down when they're young, and like you feel like it's something you never this is who I had a child with. This is who I was with. So I'm like, getting over him was probably one of the hardest things I had to do. So when I did it, it was just nothing like I wanted to go back to. Like, not saying it like that, but like, he broke my heart when I was super young, like, and kind of like bad. So it was just like, for the sake of our son and like co-parenting, like we got into a good co-parenting space. Let's just keep it like that. Let's not overcomplicate it, because when we did break up and when we would try to like go back for a little bit and like see if we want to be together, all it did was complicate it for our son. Then I don't want to answer the phone for him, or he don't call for a week because we met each other, and at the end of the day, we both gonna be okay, but it's affecting our son. So the bigger picture for me became my son. Like, I don't want to do nothing to change this situation. It's a good situation. I don't want to. I mean, now he's older. He's 14 now. So.
Man, shut this shit up. Hey man, I ain't trying to hear that. Look, that sounds good, but he's 14. He about to be a grown man. Ain't nothing he gonna do that we gonna do to gonna make Makai feel no type of way, because he already know how our bond is. You know what I'm saying? So he see our bond right now.
I'm not talking about now. I'm just talking about before.
Like, yeah, he gonna see his bump head. We not gonna be perfect. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna bump heads. That's gonna always be that. But the lying and the cheating and stuff is the things that I wouldn't do. You know what I mean? Like, I would proudly be like, hey, I got my baby mama back. I don't give a damn about none of y'all. You feel what I'm saying? I didn't live my life. I didn't have to do this. She didn't live their life. She dated. I have, well, you can say one girl fan, I guess, since in all these years. Everybody else was just people I just messed with. You get what I'm saying? Never put a title on nothing. You know what I'm saying? You didn't date it, and you still single. So obviously ain't nothing out here for you. You might as well come back home.
First of all, don't say I'm still single.
Oh, you got a man now?
No.
Oh, I'm like, tell the world.
I don't got no man, so holla at me.
No, I'm saying you still single, like, meaning like you dated.
I know, but I was with. I ended up having a daughter. I had a daughter. I got engaged.
Yeah.
So and then.
Goddamn engaged. Boy, I wanted to cut her finger off when I heard this. Oh, boy, I was so mad, boy. She said that. I was mad when I found out she had a baby. I always told myself, I said, Kwani, the only thing that could ever make me stop talking to Kwani, because I still was in love with her even though we was broken up and stuff. And she started dating her daughter's dad. And I'm like, when you first see something, like, oh, this is probably another dude. Like, just she's single, she probably be a phase. Then years passed. I said, hold on, this is real. You know what I'm saying? So I had to accept it, though. You get what I'm saying? And then I had to accept, that was a learning growth for me, because I had to accept my son being around another man. But I knew my son and our bond was so good, can't no other man come and interfere with that. But I didn't know that being a new father, even though Makai was like, well, how old was Makai when you were talking to Ryan? When you know Ryan?
5.
Maybe. So he was still a little, you know what I'm saying? But in my mind, I'm like, man, I don't want my son around the other. It was nothing towards him, but just my son being around another man, I didn't know how to accept that. So I used to be mad and frustrated for no reason and stuff, but then I had to realize I got used to it. So it helped me grow as a person, though. You know, like, it happens. As long as your bond is strong with your son, it's not gonna mess nothing up. But anyways, then she found out. I remember I was at your house, man. You was on Lover's Lane, man. I'm looking at her. I'm like, her stomach was looking pudgy. She hadn't told me yet, and I'm like, something ain't right. But I'm silly. I'm gonna crack a joke like, man, y'all ain't pregnant or something? And she just laughed and all shit like that. And I'm like, you pregnant, man? I was hurt, boy. Like, this mom, you really let somebody get you pregnant? Because I always said the only way is if she got another boyfriend or if she got pregnant by somebody. I was like, man, I never talked to her again. That's the only thing that made me really
stop. And I did both.
And she did both. My ass still want her.
When we were divorced, During the time I had, just after a while I was just bouncing around, but then eventually I had my beautiful daughter, my baby Aria, and then I had my baby. I think she was about probably a year old when no, she was about 8 or 9 months old when I actually became like trying to get back into my relationship with Sharice. And so now it's like when Sharice is accepting me back, she's not also accepting back what we went through. She's not trying to move over that and trying to heal from all that. Now she has to heal on the guy that I was just with, not even a year and a half ago, has already got a child. And it's like, now I'm asking her to also love my daughter as well, just as well as she loves me, and not treat my kid any other way than we would treat our own two that we already have. And it was asking a lot, coming into a relationship of where I just damaged you due to infidelity and due to me stepping out and stuff like that. And now, not only do I have to get over that, you have to bring in a constant reminder of what happened when we were divorced. And to be the woman that she was, to not ever, treat my daughter like any different type of way. It was another reason why, a whole different reason why I appreciated her, because it's tough, for a person to accept a child with someone that they know that they love, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I know that that's not my biological child, but it's a child that I'm going to accept, because I love him and I'm also loving everything that comes from him, and that's his child, and that's not also only his child. Now that we're back, it's going to be my child as well. And I have to be a mother, and I have to be a friend, and I have to be the mentor to a daughter, teaching her things that women can only teach a daughter. Like, she has to accept that role, and she did it, and she's acing it.
So when we decided to reconcile everything, I already knew, that he had a child. Like, I knew when they were expecting, and so this was something that I already had kind of coached myself. Like, yeah, in the beginning, it did sting because, think about it. We got back together when she was about 9 months. Then a pregnancy is 9 months. And so the entire 9 months, I kind of had to coach myself into like, this is the new reality. And even if we don't get back together and that's his family now, or, his home now, then I have to be mature because that's my son's sister. So I'm going to have to make some changes too, mentally and emotionally, and accept it. And so one day I just was like, girl, you got to accept this, and this is what it is. If anything changes, whatever. But I wasn't, in the back of my mind, it was never like, while they were together or during the process of the baby being born or growing up, I was never like, oh, I want to get him back, or I want to be back with him, or I'm going to figure out a way. I was really letting it happen. Like, this is what it is. I'm cool with it. I was cool with the mom, just like, our kids are siblings. How you doing? How was labor? I'm trying to just be like, this is what life is right now. But when they separated and when they broke up, I didn't know that he was feeling me again. So I was healing and I was moving on, and I was like, it's cool. And y'all, as much as I tried to like date, like, they was all corny. I ain't like none of them. I did not. And so I was single. So I was available most of the time we were divorced because I was stiff on men at that point. I'm like, I'm not accepting nothing less. This is healed and whole. Sharice, what you got? Bring it to me. I don't like it. Go home. Blocked. So, I was kind of right there. And so I knew he had a daughter. And so I would send my son, and I'm like, I don't know if they're able to interact or be together. So having to send my son, knowing like that he lived with a whole nother woman and their baby was just born, I was like, woo, Lord, you got this, girl, just do it. And so I just let it happen. It's a matter of letting it happen. Just do it. It's like jumping. And so from there, I was literally letting it happen. They separated, and he was just trying to be cute again. at church and stuff. Like, we still went to the same church, y'all. So I watched the pregnancy play out. I watched the relationship play out. I watched it. It was in my face. And so that helped me heal because I don't know what, if you think about a wound or something, if you pay close attention to it, if you bring yourself closer to it, it heals faster sometimes because certain wounds need more attention than others. And so sometimes when I feel broken, sometimes when I feel hurt, I make it an effort to move closer to the situation, not to dull the pain or make me immune to the pain, but to feel everything I feel in it so that I know, like, I walked out my full process of feelings with this. And so this is what it is. So that's what I was doing. And so he was just trying to slide back in, and it was cute or whatever. And I was just like, don't let me like him no more. But I did. So something stood there. So we got back together. And it's so crazy. Like, I loved him like none of that stuff ever happened. Like, it's so crazy. I thought that I didn't love him no more. But when we were getting back together, I'm like, boy, I don't love you no less. And so it was a lot of talking and having to accept that, you know, if we're together, then you're going to have an additional child. And so when she first started coming around, it was hard because she didn't know me. She was, maybe just one. And she was crying because who is this woman just crying? And I would be like, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not. I promise. I bought you some snacks. Like, when I knew she was coming back around, because they had a time where it was hard to see her. But as soon as it was finalized that she was coming back around, I went to Target. I got a car seat. I got clothes. I got snacks, cups. I went and got everything. I prepared for her like she was mine. So it was just preparing my mind to have her. And when it came to co-parenting, because now I got a co-parent with her mom, and nobody was too thrilled. So it was just me being intentional about being a bigger person every time. So literally every time there was a shot thrown at us or at me, it's just like, nah. We're not feeding into that. We're going to go higher, and that baby is innocent. And I don't care if that's your child or if that's her mom. I don't care who she was. Kids are kids, and I'm always going to treat a kid well. And so that helped it as well.
So I'm a comedian, actor, influencer. I'm an entertainer. That's what I am, man. But I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You know, it's small here, so it's like you get to a certain peak, and then if you're taking your craft serious, you have to leave. You know what I mean? So it's not like this in your city. It's just growth. You know what I mean? I seen people before me, like, I was like, whether they was rappers or what, that I thought was big. You know what I'm saying? Well, they were big. I'm not gonna say thought, but then I see them back down here, and it's like they did something wrong, and I didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? But anyways, I had opportunities to. I knew I had to go somewhere else. I knew it was Atlanta or LA. But I'm like, LA, they got wildfires and earthquakes. And, you know, we don't got that down here. You know what I'm saying? In LA. So I'm going to pick Atlanta. But anyways, I got a homie down there from here that's been down there. And he actually gave me the opportunity to come move down there. Terrell Johnny, shout out to you, man. I appreciate you. But he was like, you need to move to Atlanta. He said, you were starting to move to Atlanta. And I was like, nah. Because I was still stuck in the mindset of, like, I ain't leaving my son. Like, that's just where I was at with it. I ain't leaving my son. But then I started seeing stuff. Motivational stuff, like I watch motivational stuff like Steve Harvey and them and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And then you see stuff where they say like they'll pay you $25 an hour to sit on $1 million dreams, and that's the truth. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting there working for somebody else getting $25 an hour, thinking it's great money, and my gift is making people laugh. You know what I mean? Not why not make the sacrifices to become who you are destined to be, you know? And that's what I had been thinking about for years. So I was at my job, the liquor distributor place, for 9 years. And I finally just was like, you know what, I'm finna leave this. So I quit the job, and I knew my plan. I had a plan, but nobody seen my vision. Yeah, so it looked like I was just leaving my job for no reason. Like a lot of people don't understand it when I did it. Like even my friend Gio, Kwani, them didn't understand. They was like you quit your job to do videos. You know what I mean? But the whole time they don't know. I already been plotting in my head. I'm watching how DC Young Fly and Country Wayne are blowing up, and I'm watching social media. I don't got the money to just jump and fly stage to stage and do this. So why not take this platform that I can pay my phone bill, you know what I'm saying? So I quit. I was making videos, but I had a whole plan. That's why I was to do them whole Milwaukee roast. I did that to make my city mess with me first. My whole plan was let me make my city love me first, so that if any big comedian came here, they saying Myra, Myra, Myra. A lot of people didn't like that. They were mad. Oh, he roasting. He ain't fun. Whatever they thought, I didn't care because I had a bigger picture. I did that, and then once that started dying down, it was like, what's next? I kept making videos, just not really knowing what was coming up, but I knew how to stay consistent. My main thing was stay consistent and stay in these people's faces. I didn't care about no money. I didn't care about nothing at the time. And then when that started getting bigger, then I became, I feel like because I stayed true to my grind and never gave up, that's how Cheating As Myron ended up being made. It was just an accident. It was just a video that I just woke up and did, getting put out with the dog in the rain, and it went viral. And I'm reading the comments, and I'm like, oh, they think it's real. That's why it went viral. So I kept doing those type of videos, and every video was hitting millions and millions. But nobody knew who I was. I was just, at this point, they just keep seeing the same dude. So I still didn't have a stamp yet, a brand or nothing. It was just, who is this? People thought it was real 6 videos in still. Like I just kept getting put out. I don't know, but converted over to Instagram, and then I was still in Milwaukee. Then I started making people see me like Shaq DM'd me. You know what I'm saying? He thought I could rap for real, doing the little goofy fofo stuff. I'm like, whoa. I started basically getting eyes, attracting bigger celebrities that I grew up watching. And I'm like, oh, hold on, I'm really making some noise. And I knew I was starting to get big, but I was still in Milwaukee. So it was like, dude told me to move to Atlanta. I didn't do it the first time. 2019, he hit me up. He was like, hey, you need to move to Atlanta Super Bowl weekend, man. You need to get down here and move here. I got a couch for you to sleep on. And I was like, man, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to go. You know what I mean? Because if I had time to think, I would have changed my mind again. So it was really like a split. Like, he called me today. You need to come down here and move. I got a couch for you to move. I didn't talk to Kwani. Only person I talked to was Makai. I called my son. Makai was, 11, 10 or 11, somewhere. And I talked to him, and I'm saying, hey, because he already see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? He watching me get bigger in Milwaukee, and I'm with him. He trying to hand out my business card. He used to try to take my business card to school so he can give it to his friends. And I was like, what? Look, I'm about to cry, nigga. I'm thinking about that, dog. I know how to catch myself like, Nah,
I knew you was.
Shut up. Hold on. I'm a G, nigga. Hold on. Know what I'm saying? No, but look, I gotta get myself back happy. Because I be thinking about that because he really was like that. So I had talked to him, and he was saying that he want.
It's okay.
Somebody said a joke, make me laugh, bro. I'm trying not to cry. No, you can keep it rolling, man. It's good because I just be thinking about it, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I had to leave my son.
You had the conversation with Makai.
Yeah, dog, but I'm saying, dog, like I'm thinking about the I'm crying for real. But when I'm making me cry, because I'm thinking about, because I had to talk to him. But when I left, like, he was cool with it. You know what I'm saying? He said he was cool with it, like, because he understood. But then I had to leave, and I came back. I missed him, like, I think it was like 2 weeks. I came back home. I'm trying to cry, dog. I think I'm crying like a motherfucker, dog. I didn't want to go back. Damn.
What he gonna see when he see this?
I done cried for him before. But no, it was hard though. Like, it ain't easy doing this shit though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, leaving my son. Let's say something.
It's your question.
We can cut it right there.
Okay.
We're gonna come back.
It's hard, bro. I can't get it out for real, bro.
Yeah, that's
I already
good.
know,
That's
bro.
good. You can keep it rolling because I think
I'm
this
gonna
is just
change the
additional footage that we can have, and just even show like I could tell a story with this. Like, these are real conversations, and people get choked up. This is the behind the scenes that
Yeah, man, that shit ain't easy. Explain, like, because it's not easy.
It took you back to that moment of, damn, my son believed in me. My son believed
Right.
in me, and he not even mad that I'm gone.
And he seen this shit before I even.
Exactly.
He wanted to take my fucking business cards to school.
And he
Like,
used
this my
to.
daddy.
He used to
This my
tell him,
daddy,
like, you
man.
should always keep a pen on you to give people autographs. So, like, you know, when you go to educators or, like, the bank, they give you free pens. He be like, I'm going to take this from my dad. Like, that's
So
how
he
he...
just like, no, like, dog, he finna be that shit. Like,
Right.
He's going to make it. Back, while you up, can you get him some napkins or whatever it is back there?
That what it was. I was thinking about all that shit, bro. Trying to talk about it, man. All that shit just hit me like, damn.
And
But
when
he really was
says,
doing
I don't
that.
know if he emotional, but
He
may
is.
cry. Okay, so he may cry.
He now, you know, he's at that age where, Like, he just try to be so cool, but I'm sure, like, if he look at it, he might tell us later, like, yeah, I teared up a little bit. He won't do it. Like, they had this video made, Makai was probably like 7 or 8. Some dude followed them around for a few weeks and then put a video together, and it was literally just like a lot of candid moments. And then
Makai really wasn't even paying attention. It was funny.
Yeah, so he didn't know what the dude was there for.
He didn't know.
He didn't know.
I like that. Yeah.
And so it was a video. It made everybody cry. My grandfather, everybody. And Makai used to sit in his room. Like, he'll be with Myron for like the whole weekend. He would be with Myron for the whole weekend. And then he'll come right in his room with Myron to drop him off. He'll just like go in his room and put the DVD on and cry. And then I'll be sitting there crying. Right. I mean, like, you was just with your dad, Makai, but he would like just sit in there and cry. Like, he loved his dad.
All right, man, look, we back, man. I had to get them tears out, man. You know what I'm saying? I was crying like a mug, but hey, I'm good. I be stuttering even when I ain't making videos, but hey. But no, man, back to what we was talking about, though. He told me to come down, you know, and I was like, I didn't want my mind to change because I didn't want to leave my son. So the first person I thought about was Makai. So I pulled my son to the side, I had a conversation with him, and he was fine with it because he had watched my growth from what I was starting to become, you know what I mean? So that's all I cared about. I felt like, and I knew that my sister Mika would want me to go too. Didn't want to tell her because I knew she probably didn't see the vision yet. Like, I know she gonna believe in me, like, you know what I mean, once it's all said and done, but in the beginning it might look like you just trying to move and leave and do, you know what I'm saying? She didn't see it because at that point I probably hadn't showed her enough to be like, he's really serious about it. So when Makai said, yeah, I didn't care. I literally told dude I was coming and left. Like, it all happened like within a week and I was gone. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of felt her energy was off a little bit, but I was so tunnel vision, I just didn't care. I was like, you know what, it's gonna make sense in the end, she'll be all right. And they ended up doing that. But I was down there, I came back in 2 weeks because I was missing my son. And when I came into my sister's house, he didn't know I was coming. And he ran and he hugged me for like, it felt like 10 minutes. It probably was like 30 seconds, you know what I mean? But he cried. So I was like, man, I ain't going back. This is what I was saying in my head, I ain't going back. But I felt like if I didn't go back, I was going to let myself down, him down, and block any blessings that was meant for me, you know? So stayed for a couple of days and I went back down there and kept grinding, man. But it definitely wasn't, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all, man. It definitely wasn't easy being down there without my family. You got to meet new friends and stuff. I'm sleeping on somebody's couch, you know what I mean? I'm sleeping on somebody's couch. I don't even got a key to their house, but I knew it was all just short term. You know what I mean? I'm knocking on somebody's door, you know. But being down there, I didn't realize how much, what made me even go more because I knew I was lit in Milwaukee and I knew I had viral video. But I didn't know until I got to Atlanta when I started getting around all these other people that I've been watching on social media. I was around them in the same room. And these people, like, that's the dude, that cheat mine. They do it. I'm hearing them. Like, but I'm acting like I don't hear them. I'm like, man, they know me. And I'm trying not to be the groupie, like, oh, I'm in the room with all them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, but they hear me. I'm like, oh, they know me. So then I'm going around and around, and I'm going into the malls, and I'm walking around, and then I got booked for different shows outside of Atlanta. Just giving y'all a rundown, like being in different cities and places I've never been, because I was never traveling like that. I was always in Milwaukee. And people was running up to me like, hey, you cheating ass mom, can I get a picture? And I didn't know how to accept that at first. I'm like, I felt in my mind, I'm like, as soon as I start to take a picture, they gonna be like, ah, silly ass nigga, we don't know you. Like, I didn't know what they were gonna do. I thought they was pranking me or something, but these people was really taking pictures with me, and I'm like, that's when I knew. I said, hold on, like, you really got something. Like, you never stepped a foot in this city. You never been to none of these places, and these people know you. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's a lot better now than how it was back then. I didn't care if I went to the mall, one person knew me. I was like, I've never been here. I went to Puerto Rico and somebody knew me. That's when I was really like, I said, oh yeah, I'm the shit. I knew I was, man. So you better start playing and get with the shit.
As far as living arrangements, there was not like a previous discussion regarding that. It was just like an automatic type of thing, like, because that is my baby and I am her primary caretaker. But she's with him half the time, most of the time anyway. So she knows that she has two homes, her mama house, her daddy house. And it's literally, for the most part, half and half. But as far as like primary placement, obviously that's with me. When it comes to like healthcare and like her health, that falls on me as well. But there was never like a previous discussion regarding that. It was literally like an automatic thing. Like, okay, well, and even now, like we still kind of don't have like a set schedule. Like you have her this day, you have her that day. We have like a shared calendar that we use. All three of us actually have access to this calendar. And if I have plans, I put my plans in there. If they have plans, they put their plans in there. And we just take that calendar and we kind of plan our, whatever we want to do around that. And then I also make sure that like when she's out of school, that's all in there. So then like the week before, we'll just like talk in a group text like, hey, okay, so Madison is out of school this day, that day. What's the plan? Like, is she going to daycare? Is she staying with you guys? Like, things like that. I would usually, like that's a previous discussion, but like as far as primary placement and things like that, that was just like an automatic. He's never asked like, hey, can she come stay with me half the time? Even though during the winter time, I was like, well, if it's going to be a lot of snow, she come to live with you until they clear it out. Because if they cancel school, I'm still going to work. So she going to be there with y'all. And that was like a previous discussion. So like it's only previous discussions when it's only like specific things. But as far as, like where she's gonna live primarily, that was definitely a no-brainer. She's staying with mommy. But that was like a mutual, it's never like, no, well, she gotta go over there, or no, she gotta come over here. That's never been like a real big issue. The only issues we've had for the most part is if like to drop the ball of communication where it's like we both made plans and so we sitting there on the same day, so we sitting there like, so how this gonna work? Is you about to cancel your plans, or like what's the plan? And a lot of times I was able to kind of make it work because I would just ask my mom like, hey, me and Chris both made plans on the same day and we kind of didn't plan accordingly to that. And my mom is almost always open to watching her, so it tends to work out for the most part. But outside of that, we do pretty good as far as placement and where she's going to be this day, that day, or however many days. And that calendar definitely helps a lot too, because we be in there like, okay, so I was like, I'm going out of town, so let me put this in there real quick so they don't get to making plans while I done bought this plane ticket to leave. So for the most part, we do pretty good as far as like her placement.
So when we split up, we didn't really have a conversation about co-parenting, probably because we were so young and just not even really knowing, much about co-parenting. We're not together no more. I mean, naturally, he lived with me and went over Myron's house, or when me and Myron was together, we would come back and forth between each other's house. He was working at a liquor distribution company, so with his schedule, it wouldn't have allowed Makai to live with him anyways. And I mean, that wasn't happening anyways. Not saying it like that, but I'm just saying, like he lived with me anyways. I just wanted to make sure he spent time with him, but that was a conversation that we should have had, because then it did get a little complicated, because then, naturally when you single, you doing more. So Myron was going out a whole lot more. And he wasn't getting them like that. He would call every day, talk to him, might stop by and see him, but he wasn't getting them on the weekends. So then it took like maybe some months, maybe even like a year. And then we finally had the conversation like, okay, look, we about to get a schedule and we about to figure this out. But initially we didn't have that conversation. And I think, again, that's just being young parents, not even realizing that we should have had that conversation, or not even thinking that I needed to. Like he's always been a super hands-on dad, always been there. So I didn't think much was going to change, but he was single, free, wild. So he was living it up.
I thought you were about to say he's a super handsome guy. You said super hands-on dad. I'm like, man, I thought you were going to say something nice.
I did say something nice.
No, say I'm handsome.
No.
The world knows. No.
While we were divorced, I think it was more easy on me to make the decision. Like, my kids were going to need to be with their mom, because it's like, I work, I'm a barber, I'm a musician, I'm always on the go. And it's like, I don't want it to just be like let me pull my man card and my kid's going to be with me and I'm going to just find babysitters and why they with me. I'm like, no, on the days that I'm off, which is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, she understood, like, okay, well, I understand he works through the rest of the days of the week. I'm off. And I honestly, it went easier than what I thought it would go. Like, it really wasn't a problem, like, right away. Like, she was literally just telling me, like, okay, well, Monday, Tuesday, and when we first broke up, she would let me still get her biological daughter, which is not my biological, but my daughter, I call her my daughter, just that's my baby. She would let me still get Nyla and Eric. So it wasn't just like, oh no, you're not getting my daughter. You only gonna get your son. It was a real smooth transition. She like, well, I'll drop them off. They need food, anything. I'm trying to minimize the bickering and the arguing between the parents because it happens so much. And they've already seen us leading up to the split. And it was just so many problems. We didn't want to cause no more problems in front of our children, and especially situations that included them. We didn't want no problems to come from that. So it was real easy, set up. It was just, hey, okay, well, you get them on these days, and on the days after, if I'm working, you can just drop them off, tell my mom, and I'll pick them up from there. So it was a real easy setup and a real easy scheduling because it was like, it worked out for both of us. You get 3 days, I get 4. I'm the mom. They're going to be with me primarily all the time, but when their dad is at home and he's not doing it, he's going to have his kids.
Yeah, I think we kind of went into a little tension when I think the tension came in, it was something occurred where I was a little bitter. So I was mad. So I will admit that I was bitter and I made an impulsive decision. And it wasn't right. It wasn't right for the kids. It wasn't right for all of us. So I think a situation occurred. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I decided to pull Nyla away. I think it was this, we maybe had a span of like a month where he was inconsistent with the days we agreed on because he was working and he had gigs and stuff. Like stuff was like coming up. It was validated, but I was mad because I was still hurt. But I'm like, if you're gonna be inconsistent, that's not what my kids need. I can't keep Eric from inconsistency because you're his dad, but I can keep Nyla from it. And so I pulled her away. And then after that, Nyla stopped going over. And so she was just like, Mom, why I can't go with little Eric no more? Why can't I go? And that broke my heart because I'm like, girl, you gotta do better. But me standing on my pride, I'm like, nah, this is what it is. And by the time I was over it to be like, okay, Nyla, you can go back, he was in a new relationship and there was no room because she had a child. And so I can't force my kid on her too, you know what I'm saying? Because coming into it, she knew he wasn't getting Nyla. So you can't make somebody to adjust to something you didn't bring to the table initially, so I wasn't gonna make that. But we did have that tension because I felt like there were inconsistencies there because I was still, I wasn't dealing with the hurt of the fact that I still liked him. I still wanted to be with him for that time, and I wanted him to make it work, so I was just using anything to try to make him feel what I was feeling because he came in Nyla's life when she was 2, and so I knew that was a heartstring, so I pulled it. And so, yeah, that was one of our tensions. But other than that, it wasn't kind of like a no-brainer. Y'all can be with mommy this day and y'all can be with daddy this day.
You going to have them conversations with your son, man. Like, Makai come over. I was like, hey, what he be doing? I used to ask him all types of questions. Man, I ain't going to lie. Like, yeah, what he doing? Hey, did you ever see him kiss your mom? I used to ask all types of questions. I was mad, boy. Hey, you ever kiss your mom? Did they argue? Like, I'm trying to figure out how you treating Kwani, how intimate they are. So, like, I ain't gonna ask him about no sexual stuff, but you can kiss in front of your kids or peck them, love you. Just say, I asking that. I'm like, is he mean to you? I would ask him all type of questions. Makai gonna tell me the truth about everything.
We got the magic happening. Girl, the feeling is great and I'm loving it. Hey, we got the magic happening. Everything that we need.